Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. This is just one of the many quotes that you can find attributed to Steve Jobs. By the time of his death in October of 2011, he left a lasting legacy that will forever be remembered by the thousands and thousands of people that he affected. Steve Jobs changed the world, which I will describe in three main points. First, Steve Jobs founded the personal computer prototype. Second, Steve Jobs turned technology into art. And third, Steve Jobs connected every aspect of our lives. Throughout the course of his life, he strived to make a difference in the world, and that's exactly what he did, which leads me to my first main point. Steve Jobs founded the personal computer prototype. According to an online biography that was first published in 2014 by a writer of biography.com, Steve Jobs first started working with electronics at a young age with his dad in the garage of his Silicon Valley home in California. In school, teachers had to force Jobs to study, even though he was a very intuitive thinker. Teachers proposed that he skip 2 grades and go directly into high school, but his parents declined the proposal. It was in his early teens where he met the other future co-founder of Apple Computers, Steve Wozniak. Eventually, in 1976, Wozniak and Jobs started Apple companies. In the online bio, it is stated that Jobs and Wozniak are credited with revolutionizing the computer industry by democratizing the technology and making the machine smaller, cheaper, intuitive, and accessible to everyday consumers. By 1980, the net worth of Apple Computers was $1.2 billion. The Mac's impact wasn't only affecting the people who bought it in the 80s, however. It quite literally redefined what the computer was. By 1995, Windows, which is Mac's biggest competitor, duplicated the graphical interface that Apple invented. Now, essentially every PC follows the template introduced by the original Mac more than a quarter century ago, which is all due to Jobs' gifted intuition. Steve Jobs knew he wanted to create something great with the right mindset and the right people. He did just that. Steve Jobs found the original PC prototype. He once said, "I think if you do something good and it turns out pretty good, then you should go do something else wonderful, not dwell on it too long, just figure out what's next." And that's exactly what he did, which brings me to my second main point. Steve Jobs turned technology into art. According to an online article about the remembrance of Steve Jobs in 2011, Jobs' first step into getting his ideas and inventions talked about was advertisement. As early as 1984, Jobs made a decision that would affect Apple forever. In the famous 90-second commercial that ran during the Super Bowl, an athlete runs into a room straight out of a dystopian novel and throws a sledgehammer to a screen that reads, "On January 24th, Apple will introduce Macintosh. And then you will see why 1984 won't be like 1984 anymore." According to an article published in the International Business Times in 2011, titled "Steve Jobs Dead: 5 Ways His Legacy Changed the World," Jobs dismissed that Dell was creating beige, uninnovative boxes. He went on to envision a computer that was capable of power and function, but yet was still elegant. Once again, his work came to life when in 1998, Apple released the iMac, which impressed users all over the world with its brightly colored size and easy design and purpose. By this time, Apple was the talk of the nation after sales skyrocketed. Jobs turned technology into art. Not only did he advance personal computers, he created programs like iTunes that went along with iPods, iPads, and iPhones that allowed the legal download of music to your specified machines. It is safe to say that Jobs has affected almost everyone's life, which brings me to my third main point. Steve Jobs connected every aspect of our life. According to the previously mentioned article that was published in the International Business Times in 2011, after Jobs' death, House Majority Leader Eric Cantor paid tribute to him with a statement that was both simple and insightful. "There is not a day that goes by, and often an hour, that a Steve Jobs invention does not better my family's life." Before Jobs came along, nobody had thought to integrate so many things, music players, and phones, into one same company. When you think about it, Eric Cantor is extremely right. We work and spend our free time on MacBook Pros and iPads, listen to our iTunes libraries on our iPods, talk, text, and play games on our iPhones, edit photos and videos in iPhoto and iMovie. The Apple software is even called iLife, and that's not much of an exaggeration. With everything you do, there's definitely an app for that. Today, we are extremely lucky to have come across such a powerful and innovative person. Steve Jobs changed the culture of the world. His inventions are everywhere, literally. Most importantly, Steve Jobs connected every aspect of our lives. When we think of the most powerful person of this century, we will always remember Steve Jobs. His legacy will never be forgotten. Steve Jobs once said, "Your time is limited. Do not waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped in dogma, which is living with results of someone else's thinking." Steve Jobs never lost sight of what he wanted, and in return he has created a company that will affect the lives of people for decades to come. Without him, technology would be completely different. Steve Jobs changed the world, and it will be remembered as such because Steve Jobs founded the personal computer prototype, he turned technology into art, and lastly, he connected every aspect of our lives.